Hey everybody, welcome back. On September 27th, Concerned Ape tweeted this image on screen right now, and because I'm dangerously excited about Stardew's 1.6 update, I put together a quick 3.5-page analysis of the image. These are obviously just my opinions and observations, so make sure you leave a comment letting me know what you took away from the sneak peek and from this video. We have new festivals coming, one major and two minor. We currently have the following festivals. In spring, we have one community romance type festival and one competition at the middle and the end of the season. In summer, we have two, I would argue, community type festivals, again, middle and end. And in fall, we have one competition type and one community type, middle and end of the season. And finally, winter, we have one competition type fairly early, actually, in the season, and then one community type way at the end. And then we also have the minor festival, the winter market. My guess is here, I would guess we're getting a competition type festival for summer on either the 14th or 15th or the 20th or 21st. We have, this one's arguable, foraging and then farming and fishing festivals already in the Egg Hunt, the Fair, and the Festival of Ice. If we follow these themes, that would make the summer festival either mining or combat. That seems kind of unlikely to me, but what do I know? Possibly could be an animal-related fair, as those were common in summer seasons in lots of OG farming games too. I'm guessing we see one minor festival in both spring and fall. A New Year's festival would make sense in spring, something you wouldn't really get to see until year 2 maybe. That way it wouldn't overwhelm new players. For fall, I could see a Thanksgiving type festival that's about the gift giving, except you choose a villager instead of the randomly selected Feast of the Winter Star. I don't think this is going to have turkeys and pilgrims, for example, but it could be the same kind of themes. Regardless of what or when they are, I expect you'll be able to do some shopping. I'm not sure if the items we're seeing to the right of this image are relevant for the festivals, or if they're just hints that he knew he wanted on the page, and this is a spot where the dialogue allowed for it. I'm kind of leaning in that direction, to be honest. We're getting new late game content, which expands on each of the skill areas. This implies that we'll get content for farming, mining, foraging, fishing, and combat. When he says expands on the skill areas, I don't think that means there will be new areas of the map for each of these, but that we'll see new buffs or maybe even higher skill caps. We know the Iridium scythe is coming based on a tweet from May, which is awesome, by the way, so perhaps that'll let you harvest crops, for example. Similarly, we could see something like expanded crafting or food recipes to help with mining, new forage maybe that could only be acquired with a high enough foraging level, upgraded weapon abilities, or maybe even deeper combinations of builds using abilities and rings, the forge, things like that. What I'm really, really hoping for is a fishing net crafting recipe, or something to that effect. Something that would allow people who struggle with fishing using the rod to eventually complete the community center without relying on Krobus, the traveling cart, gifts from villagers, and the trash cans, Since this line said late game though, I kinda doubt we'll see this, but dang, that would be cool. New items and crafting recipes are coming, and listen, I can't even begin to guess at what might be available here. I see a totem, but I'm not sure it's a warp totem or where it would even go, to be honest. The mug of pinkish liquid makes me think we'll be getting new food recipes though, which might have something to do with the late game content he mentioned. I'm not sure what the third item is, but it kind of looks like a quiver to me. If that's the case, I could see it possibly being for a bow and arrow, which would also qualify as expanded content for combat. And it could also be the competition type festival that would fit into the summer spot that I was thinking about. Joja alternatives to some of the in-game quests. I'm really excited for this. We already saw the Joja bird on Ginger Island. I've heard people say maybe you'll be able to buy upgrades instead of finding walnuts. But I think that's unlikely since you need the walnuts for perfection. And even if we're buying walnuts, how is the game going to determine which ones to remove from the map? So I think both of those are unlikely. The first would ruin a perfection run, and the second would possibly give you the chance to double dip or break your save. I don't know why, but for some reason, I think we'll get a vendor from that bird on Ginger Island that sells some of the harder to acquire things that are exclusive to the island, possibly even with a unique currency. Concerned Ape has shown before that you can't really get locked out of any mechanical content by selecting a specific route, and you're not punished for playing the morally gray way. However, in the case of the community center at least, you're giving up something to streamline your progression, and I think he'll follow that same design philosophy here. 100 plus new lines of dialogue. This is obviously very exciting, but there are right around 30 people that I would expect to show up at a festival anyway, and if each one of them has one new line at each festival, that's already 90 lines. Even so, I hope that some post-marriage dialogue will be added, or almost as good, dialogue from other villagers that references your marriage would be awesome, just to make it feel like your actions have changed the valley, Winter outfits, super cool, but yeah, that's it. A new type of reward for completing billboard requests. This one is very interesting to me. I honestly think this will be a new currency. I'm not sure what we'll buy with it though. It could be something related to one of the minor festivals, like a shop where you can buy items based on how often you go out of your way to help villagers. That would be really neat. I don't know about the use of this currency, but I'm confident in this one, for some reason. Support for 8-player multiplayer on PC. This just makes sense. It was already possible with a simple edit, so I don't have anything to add here. And then many small additions and adjustments, again, not much to talk about here either. I would guess it's little quality of life stuff that doesn't really come to mind right now, but that people talk about on Twitter or whatever. A new farm type though. I'm going to go out on a limb here and saying we're getting a swamp type farm based on the slimy looking tree on the teaser here. I could be way off, as I'm pretty sure he's used all the same assets on the other farms so far. If we're not getting a new farm type though, I would guess that we're getting a new location, something akin to like the Witch's Swamp. Another idea that I had was the Glacier Farm. I think that would pair off really nicely with the new winter outfits that we're getting. New secrets and more. Listen, I don't know, man. Maybe there will be more Yoba stuff. Maybe there will even be new NPCs, like this guy on the middle of the screen here. I just hope that there are more cryptic notes related to the villagers, like Marnie and Lewis being found in a bush. More things where the NPCs are interacting instead of just us. And then, hey, let's look at some images as we wrap up here. I see from left to right, top to bottom, what I am guessing are a new wallet item maybe, possibly related to foraging or one of the secrets being added. I also think this could be an early stage image of a new crop. Specifically, it kind of looks like a Stardew to me. So maybe we'll be able to grow at least one of those. These little things kind of just look like molten rocks to me. I'm guessing they're not, but it's the only thing that I can think of. Maybe coffee beans of some kind, maybe a new crafting recipe. I'm stumped on this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. The fish item looks like a machine. I could see this being used to like dry or smoke fish or something. I don't know. Or, and this is just me wishing, cross your fingers again, it could be the collection point for your fishing nets. Between the bush up top and the new tree image that looks to be repeated on the bottom left, I think it's pretty much certain that we're getting a new area, or that these sprites will be used on the new farm. Possibly both. They just really both say swamp to me. We're getting a new totem of some kind. This one I'm kind of stumped on. Could it be for weather? What kind of weather would it be for? Maybe for flowers? I could also see this being something completely wild, like bringing you to your spouse or vice versa. This would be really cool for late game Ginger Island farming, but it would mean new pathing for Concerned Ape to code, so I'm kind of skeptical. That said, these three items on this line to me kind of look like a group. They almost look like three things in like a love festival of some kind. So we have like this pinkish totem, the pink drink, and then kind of this blue and pink quivery looking thing at the end. The new beverage could be a fancy drink from that specific festival, or it could be some kind of new tea. It doesn't use a sprite that's super familiar to the coffee or tea or cooking recipes, so I'm not really sure. I kind of am leaning towards cooking recipe though. I mentioned this before, but this last one kind of looks like a quiver to me. I'm sure someone in the comments will have a better idea, but that's my first thought. And I think it could be like a Cupid's arrow kind of thing maybe, if we have like a love festival. As I'm reading this, that's sounding more and more like possible looking at the sprites here. This ticket, I think, is going to be the new currency for completing bulletin board requests. As it stands, there's just not really much reason to go out of your way for a little extra gold. It's cool when they're convenient, but adding a new way to shop by doing quests would incentivize me to go after these way more frequently. I'm not sure on this one. This is possibly related to one of the new festivals. Feast of the Winter Star is already like a blind gift giving, so I doubt this is like that. These could be the items you buy with your tickets, which would be very loot box of Concerned Ape to give us a new currency just for these items. I could also see these being something like the artifact troves that we try to fill the museum with. This one actually is just Eric's self-insert character drinking a glass of milk. Sorry. But seriously, it could be a vendor, possibly a JoJo worker, though the blue is a little off for that. Or it could be a generic festival goer like the randos at the fair. I'm leaning vendor, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it's just a complete red herring. Three frogs? What do you want me to say? I'm pretty sure they represent the Triforce or something, probably. And last but not least, winter clothing. Again, we already saw that this was coming, we already knew this was coming, but it's very cute to see the implementation. What do you think about the 1.6 update? Do you think I got even one single thing in this entire video right? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.